guys, today we're going to be doing a 3 looks 1 palette with the new Juvias Place palette. This is their Tribe palette. If you haven't already seen my first impression and you don't know what this palette looks like, this is what she looks like, and she is gorgeous. So today we're going to be doing 3 looks with this, and I wasn't even planning on starting to film with this today, but I was just watching Nikki Tutorials' new video where she was in Milan and she decided to recreate one of the looks from the fashion show that she went to, and I just thought that look came out so cool and I want to try to recreate something similar. So I will put a picture up on the screen on the look that she recreated because I just think it came out awesome. And I really think that a lot of these shades are going to be awesome for this. So mainly I will be using these two right here. And I think for doing the outline and like the wing part, I'm going to use my Urban Decay pencil, and this is in the shade Mars. You don't have to use this. If you want to recreate this, you can use a black liner, you can use any liner you want, you can use no liner, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to use this just to make it easier for myself, and I feel like this is the liner that I have that is going to match the colors that I'm putting on top the best. So we are just going to get straight into it, and I'm going to first start off by taking this pen and I'm going to outline where I want my wing to be. And I do want this to be kind of a big wing, so I'm really going to try to wing this out as much as I'm able to without it getting in the way of my brow. And I made sure to not draw my brows out as long as I normally do, because I usually extend my brows quite a bit because I don't have a lot of hair. So I'm making this wing to go about where my brow is. And when I have that done, I'm gonna start shaping where I want my wing to be. And of course I want this to be above where my eyelid is so that when my eyes are open I can still see the whole wing. And this is all going to change probably depending on your eye shape and stuff like that. So maybe start low and you can always bring it up afterwards, but if you go too high it's really tough to bring it back down. And I feel like this is a very fashionable look. Like a lot of runway shows will have looks that are similar to this. And I totally get why, because they look super, super cool. It might not be the most wearable look for most people, but I would totally wear this, and I really don't care what people think about my eye makeup, so. And I feel like this is probably going to be a pretty simple look because I mean I've already kind of outlined where I want the shadow to be, so I'm not going to fill in the rest of this with this pencil. Again, you don't have to do this step. You can use black, you can use whatever you have on hand. And then I'm going to do the other eye, and then we can get into actually putting the shadows on top. Alright, so like 10 minutes later, I think I got it pretty even. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go in with Cuba, and I'm going to pack this all over where I put this. Now, this is what I mean by you could have just skipped this step and gone straight in with the shadow, but I feel like this was just a better way to make it a little bit more precise. So I'm taking the shadow on a very flat Morphe M421 brush. And I'm just going to place this all over where I put down this liner. And since this liner is pretty much the same color as the shadow, there's not going to be a huge difference, but just wait until I go in with that lighter duochrome and you'll really see this pop. So I think you can definitely see a slight difference between this eye and this eye now. This one is definitely way more foiled and shiny and prettier. Alright, now this is where the fun begins. I'm next going to take Coral, which is the light duochrome green shade. If you haven't seen my first impression, this is actually a very light duochrome, and I did not know that at first. I'm not sure if you can see that green-yellow reflect. This shade is so pretty. And I'm going to pack this from my inner corner, probably about 2/3 of the way or so. And now I'm going to really intensify this in the inner corner of my eye, about 1/3 of the way through. And then really see how bright I can get it in my inner corner. I'm pretty sure I can marry this shade. This is so pretty, so pretty. I am so in love with that shade. This is by far my favorite shade in this palette. So I know I have to use glitter in this look, and I really don't want to, so I'm going to use a very subtle one, and this is the one by Pixie. And I used this in my first impression as well, I think, and it's in the shade Crystaline. And I'm going to just place this right in my inner corner and also pull it up onto my lid a little bit. So for the rest of the look, I don't really think I'm going to do much else. I'm going to put a nude liner in my waterline, and for that I'll be using Honey Dude by Colourpop. This is just a very nude liner. And I'm not going to put any shadow or mascara on my lower lash line, I don't think, so I'm just going to curl my lashes now and put on some mascara on top, and then I will be right back and I can figure out what lipstick to wear with this. So for lips today, I have two items I want to put on, and this is a Wet n Wild crayon, and it says it's a velvet matte lip color. I've used this once before and I really liked it. So I'm going to put this on. It's a very nude lipstick, and I'm also going to top this with a gloss afterwards. And the gloss that I want to use is by Anastasia. It's in the shade Luna. So here is the completed look of look number 1. I think this came out really cool. I think this is so fun. I'm a huge fan of like editorial type looks, so let me know if you recreate anything similar to this because I would love to see it. I think this is just so much fun. So let's get into look number 2. So let's get into look number 2. I'm actually going to prime my eyes today with my P. Louise base again because I'm not sure how I feel about the Milani eyeshadow primer. I feel like it kind of dries down a little bit too quickly for my liking. I really realized that I like something that's a bit more tacky than that. So we're gonna give this another chance. So all I know for this look is that I want to have the neon yellow green chartreuse color. Tell me what to call this color. I guess it's just a chartreuse, right? So all I know is I want to have this really blown out in my inner corner. So we're going to start with that. And I'm taking this on my Sigma E36 and I'm really going to just pack this in here. I'm also pulling it up to my lid a little bit. I would say about 1/3 of the way. And I've said this before, when I have a matte in my inner corner, I really like to start with that color because sometimes it's easy for a look to get out of hand when you're starting to crease and then you end up bringing the colors in too much and then you don't have enough room for the matte shade. And since it's a matte shade, it doesn't layer well. So it's nice to just go in with this shade first and make sure that I have enough of this on, and then I can always go in with other shades on top of this afterwards. I'm also pulling this down onto my lower lash line a little bit. So I think what I want to do next is I want to go in with Ashanti, which is the brown shade. And you guys know I'm not a huge fan of browns, but I am going to try it for, you know, review purposes because I am going to do a review of this palette after I'm done filming this. So I'm taking the brown, and I actually like the combination of like a neon yellow together with a brown. So I'm just going to pack this, I think, all over the rest of my lid. This actually seems to have a bit of like a green undertone. I kind of like that. Man, this is like a poop color. It literally looks like poop. I mean, I'm here for it, but it looks like poop. I'm just stamping this on and making sure that the coverage is nice and opaque. I'm not sure yet if I want to go in with another color on top of this. I need to kind of see how it is looking, if it's looking nice and not patchy. And I'm going to go in with a flat packing brush instead because the other one really wasn't giving me a very even coverage, it seemed like. And I really don't know if it's the primer that is doing this or if it's the color, but I don't like how this is looking. I honestly think it's the primer because the primer does tend to change the color of the shadows a little bit. And I'm having a little bit of like an unevenness. I don't know if you can see here, but it's looking a lot darker in my crease than it is on my lid. And it kind of looks like the color is changing on me, and I don't know why it's doing that. That is super strange. I'm gonna try to just do the same thing on the other eye and see if the color changes here too. So, I mean, it's looking a lot better on this eye than it is on this eye, but I still don't really like how this is laying. And again, I'm not sure if it's the primer that's doing this or if it's the shadow. So I'm not going to judge this quite yet because I do want to try this shade on top of a different primer, but right now it's not looking the best. So I'm actually going to go in with a shimmer even though I wasn't really planning on it. So I'm going to take Chaga and I'm just going to put this all over my lid pretty much. So I'm putting this right on top of where I put down that poop shade. And I mean poop in the best way possible, so don't think that I mean that as like bad shade, it just looks like the color for poop, so. I do like how this is looking layered on top though. So I'm gonna pull this shadow pretty much up into my crease as well to just cover up a little bit of that weirdness that was happening up there. And I'm just going to gently tap over where that matte shade is. Actually, I really like how this is looking so far. I think this layered on top of the matte looks amazing. And I don't know why, but I'm kind of thinking of like Egypt and pyramids and all that kind of stuff, and I really have no idea why this color is making me think of that, but it just does, and I like it. I think that looks really cool. Now I think the real question is, do I want to do the same thing on my lower lash line? I think I do. And I also think I kind of want to go in with like a fun liner today, maybe a green liner or something like that. So I'm going to quickly just take the same shimmer shade and I'm going to put that onto my lower lash line. You know what, I take that back. I'm first going to go in with the matte because I want to see how this performs on the lower lash line. I do really like the color of the shade though. And I really feel like it was just a primer that was making it act up a little bit. Which is why I really just don't like the P. Louise primer. I can't help it. I'm also making a bit of a wing out here, which, I don't know, I've just been liking that look lately. I'm going to go in with a bit of a fluffier brush with a little more product on it, and I'm really going to start blowing this out. And then I'm going to go back in with that shimmer, and I'm using an angled brush to put this just right close to my lower lash line. And I've really been liking shimmers on my lower lash line lately. I don't know why, but I really like that little pop of sparkle there. And before I do anything else, we obviously need some glitter. So I'm going to use a nude glitter. I've had this for a while, but I haven't used it. And this is a Stila Glitter and Glow in Fairy Dust. And I think it's just like a kind of dark bronzy shade. Ooh, look at that. It's got a little bit of peachy shift to it. That looks really pretty. I don't know if that's going to go with this look though. Now I'm doubting myself. Oh, I don't know if I want to use this anymore. That is so pretty though. Oh, I just want to slap this all over my lid instead. Look at that. Oh. Okay, let me see if I can find something else. Okay, so instead I have a plan and I'm going to use this matte green gel liner and I'm going to just trace my upper lash line, kind of a thick line, and then on top of that I'm going to go in with a green glittery liquid eyeshadow. So let's try to do that. So I'm just using a very thin eyeliner brush here. I got this in a BoxyCharm. I feel like I've been saying that all the time recently, but honestly I like a lot of the brushes that we've gotten in BoxyCharm. So I'm gonna make this pretty thick. This is something that you can do even if you have very hooded eyes. You don't have to always do a wing even if you do a liner. You really could just like end it out here and it'll still just give like a fun pop of color when you blink. And of course you could just go in with black as well if you don't have any green liner, which is totally fine because I feel like most people are not going to have a green gel liner. Or you could also use the shade that is in the palette. You could go in with a little bit of concealer and just make a line with that and then pop the green shade on top. But I don't personally like doing shadows as my liners because I feel like it transfers just because I have hooded eyes. So this method works a lot better for me, but I've seen a lot of people use that method and it looks beautiful on them. So just something to keep in mind since you do have that shade in this palette. Okay, so the glitter that I want to use is by Be Elegant, and this is one of their liquid eyeshadows. I haven't yet tried them on my eyes, but I have swatched it, and it looks very pretty. It's very glittery, as you can see. It's not super opaque, but it's definitely opaque enough that if you put it on top of a shadow, I think it's going to look really nice. So I'm just using my same eyeliner brush, and I took a little bit of the glitter, and I'm just going to pop that right on top of where I put down that liner. And we're going to make this into a glitter liner. That looks really pretty, I like that. So for my waterline, I'm going to use this pen by Stila. It is called Lionfish and it's just a brown. So I'm going to put this in my waterline and then put on some mascara and I'll be right back. Alright, so I actually went ahead and I put on some lipstick too, and this is Peanut by Morphe. This is the only liquid lipstick that I have from Morphe, but I really like it. I think it's a very beautiful brown shade and I kind of want to get more of these. I don't know what the fuck that is. I had a little dust thing flying across the screen. I'm so clumsy. Anyway, this is a lipstick that I had kind of forgotten about until Karen Harris. If you don't follow her, I will link her up in the cards, but she was showing this in one of her Instagram stories and I was like, I have that lipstick too, and now I want to use it, so now I'm using it and I like it. So this is the finished look of look number 2. I think we should just get into look number 3. Alright, it is time for look number 3, and I'm going to start by priming my eyes today again with my MAC Paint Pot. I'm not going to use my Milani eyeshadow primer today. So I want to give that brown shade another chance and see if maybe it was just a primer that was making it a bit hard to work with. I think I want to do something today that I haven't done in a very long time, and I think I want to do a full cut crease. So I'm going to actually do 2 different shades in my cut crease, and I'm going to start by taking the lightest of the green shades, which is called Tootsie, and I'm going to put that in my inner part of my crease, and then on the outer part of my crease I'm going to put this brown shade. And I'll be using my Morphe E36 to do this with. So I'm first going to start by packing the green shade into the inner part of my crease and about halfway or so across. And you want to make sure that you bring this color up quite high when you're doing a full cut crease, because you're going to be cutting your crease pretty high up, so you definitely want there to be enough shadow everywhere so that when you cut your crease you'll still be able to see it when you open your eyes. And I like to pretty much pull my shadow up almost all the way up to my brow bone, so that's what I'm going to do. And for a bit of extra pop, just right up here, I'm going to go in with Mascara, and I'm going to use this shade to just kind of blend out that green. But I'm going to be blending it upwards and not really in that much. And I'm using a very small, kind of dense, fluffy brush for this. And I don't want a lot of this shade, I just want a little bit to be poking through. Alright, for the outer part of my crease, I'm going to go in with the brown shade. And since this is going to be a full cut crease, I'm going to start by winging out this shadow quite a bit. I don't seem to be having any issues with this shade this time, so I'm pretty sure it was just the primer that was doing it yesterday. Also because it only happened on one eye, so I don't think that there was anything wrong with that shade. And I really like how this shade blends into the other green. And for cutting my crease, I'm using a Morphe M421 brush and my Too Faced Born This Way concealer. And like I said, I'll be doing a full cut crease today. And if anybody wants like a full tutorial on how to do cut crease on hooded eyes or cut crease in general, let me know, because I feel like it takes way too much time to actually explain this in every video that I do a cut crease in, which is why I usually just fast forward. So yeah, let me know if you would be interested in something like that. And I'm going to go in and pack on Mascara again, this shade right here, on pretty much my whole area where I cut my crease. And when I get to the edge, I'm just switching to a very small eyeliner brush, and I'm going to kind of just wing this out up to where the point meet where I cut my crease. And I honestly don't find this shade to pack on that nicely. It's definitely not as opaque as I wanted it to be, even though I put it on top of a sticky concealer. Now, I will say that concealer is not my favorite to pack on shadows on top. I don't know if it's because of my eyes or what, but I just don't like using concealers as primers, so this definitely could just be me. And for my lower lash line, just to keep it a bit more interesting, I'm actually going to wrap around this neon shade and pull that about half of the way across my lower lash line. And what I want to do next is I want to go in with this green shade right here and kind of make like a wing out. So again, I'm taking a small angled brush and I'm going to use that to kind of wing out my shadow here and sort of meet it up with that brown up top, but still leaving like a tiny bit of room right in between here. And then when I get the angle right, I'm going to make it a little bit thicker and then drag it down onto my lower lash line and meeting it up with the neon shade. So not to toot my own horn or anything, but I think this looks amazing. So we need to tie in a little bit of glitter in this look, but I don't know where or what. So I think I'm just going to play it safe since I don't really know what else to do, and I'm going to use one of my Stila glitter glows. Wow, shocking. So this is in the shade Perlina, and this is what it looks like right here. And trust me, if I wasn't using glitter, I would have just gone in with Coral, but since I do have to put in some glitter into this look, this is what I'll be doing. So I'm going to put some black in my waterline, some black on my upper lash line, some mascara, and I'll be right back and we can see what this look is looking like. Alright, I'm back, and I wasn't planning on doing a wing, but you know when your line just keeps getting a little bit thicker and a little bit bigger, and all of a sudden before you know it is a wing. So that's just sort of what happened, and I can't do anything about that now, but what I can do something about is put on some lipstick, and today I'll be using my Pumpkin Pie by Jeffree Star. I know, I keep talking about this lipstick all the time, but I just love it. And I figured since, you know, this is a green and orange palette, it would only be right to use some orange on my lips. Alright, so this is the completed look. I'm really happy with this look. I don't do full cut creases very often because I don't really think they suit me, but I think this one looks okay. It's something that I need to practice on still to make it look really good with my eye shape, and I'm not really sure if I'll ever be able to like perfect a full cut crease to make it look good on my hooded eyes, but I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, and those will complete all the 3 looks with this palette. So I think we should get into the review portion of this video. So I have now used all of the shades in this palette. I am pretty sure. Yeah, I've definitely used all of these shades. So what I want to say first is that a couple of these shades, I think I even said this in my first impression, but a couple of these shades are not as pigmented as I thought they were going to be. And that is the yellow and the orange shade. Now, don't get me wrong, they're definitely buildable. You can get them to look really nice, but you do have to build them up, and they're not as pigmented as a lot of other Juvias Place shadows. So just something to keep in mind. Doesn't necessarily mean it's good or bad, it's just what it is. As for the shimmers, I think they are all stunning, especially this duochrome. I did not know this was the duochrome until I received the palette. I'm not even sure if you can see it, but it has such a beautiful like yellow-green shift to it, and it's just, oh, it just warms my heart. It's so pretty. And the shades on the bottom, I really like this brown shade. You can see it here. It has a slight undertone of like an olive to it, so it's not just a brown, which I can really appreciate because I don't really think I would use this brown if it wasn't for me trying out this palette in this video. So I'm very thankful that I am filming, because I don't think that I would have really reached for this brown at all, and I wouldn't have realized how awesome this brown really is. So I think this shade is stunning. I love how unique this is. This burnt orange shimmer, I think this is so beautiful as well. I really, really like this. And the dark matte green, I think this is beautiful as well. It's got a little bit of a blue undertone to it, and I think it goes so well with the rest of this palette. I think this color story, absolutely beautiful. I think this is one of my favorite Juvias Place palettes. It's tough to really rank them all, but for now, I think this is in my top 3, possibly, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to say for sure where it stands, but as of right now, just because I have it and because I've been playing with it, I really love it. And I think as for a rating of this palette, I would give it a 8.2 out of 10. And I think that's fair considering the shades in this palette. I am very harsh on all my palettes, so 8.2 is very, very strong, and I'm really happy I have this palette. I think it's great. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. If you like the color story in this, I think you will be really happy with this palette. It is just as good as any other Juvias Place palettes, and I probably will have a series coming up in the new year where I rank all of my Juvias Place palettes, but I'm gonna have to think about that for a very long time to make up my mind on where all of the palettes stand. So as of right now, this is getting an 8.2, like I've said twice already, but I like this palette a lot. So I think that was all I wanted to say for the review part. Keep it short and sweet. So thank you so much everybody for watching as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below which look was your favorite. I would love to know. And if you are new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you all in tomorrow's video. Bye!